welcome to this week's video. For this week, I wanted to try making some ears. I've made some before, but this time I wanted to use an airbrush, which I've never used an airbrush before, so yeah. Jumping right on in, I've drawn a reference for my wire, which I'm going to bend to the shape, and this is so that the ears are posable. I'm making these ears in practice for a future cosplay that I plan to do, which is going to be a fawn. And if you don't know, it's basically a human with deer or goat legs. After bending my wire, I'm going to use my reference to cut out pieces of faux fur. After cutting out my pieces of faux fur, I'm going to use some hot glue to glue in my wire. Basically, I'm going to make a wire sandwich with my faux fur. At the moment, I'm only going to glue around the edges where the wire meets the faux fur, but later I'm going to glue down the other piece of faux fur and make sure it's glued down all the way across so that there aren't any bubbles between them. Now that my sandwich is glued together, I'm going to go along the edges and make sure that those are also glued down pretty well. This is important to making the ears look seamless and not like two pieces of fabric squished together. After I'm done with gluing all of the edges, I'm going to also go back and trim anything that is sticking out or overlapping. The little details are just as important as the rest of the art project, which is why I'm spending so much time on these edges. I'm trying to make them look nice and sharp. Next is my favorite part, which is shaving down the fur. And this is just to make it look a bit more realistic because most animals don't have super floofy ears. And on the inside, it's mostly short except for one little bit on the edge where you want to keep the fur long. On the outside of the ears, the fur is mostly short except for up by where it would attach to the head. For these ears, I want them to have like a hooved animal sort of shape, so I'm going to fold them in at the top, and this will make it look cute and round, kind of like a deer or a cow. And now I am airbrushing. This was probably the hardest part, but I also had a lot of fun with it. So I'm basically just going around the edges with my lightest color to blend them together and make it look seamless. I'm also going to add a gradient to the tips of the ears because I thought it would kind of look like blush or just look cute in general. Between layers, I'm going to rub it down with a tissue and then brush it out while it's wet. And this is so that the fur does not get matted, also so that the color actually blends into the fur and doesn't just stay on the top. I'm going to add some shading to the inside of the ears, and this just makes it look dynamic and also realistic. And at the last minute I decided it needed some dark pink as well, which is adding to my gradient very nicely. Now that I'm done airbrushing, I am going to put them on a headband so that I can wear them. To attach the ears, I'm going to wrap ribbon all the way around the headband and then around the wire of the ears. And I'm using super glue to adhere it because hot glue does not really stick to metal. And if it does, it won't really stay for very long. Super glue is more long lasting. After I tried them on and I was looking at them, I was like, oh my gosh, it looks like Strawberry Cow. So of course now it needs some little horns so it does look like a little cow. I'm going to use some air dry foam clay for the horns because it is really nice and durable and it's very light, so I barely even notice any weight from it. After gluing the horns to the headband, the ears are complete. As you can probably tell, they are a little off center, but it's got wabi-sabi. And hey, isn't that why we practice? But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope to see you next week. If you enjoy my art, please like and subscribe. Bye!